Now, let's go from supercar to mega car. The Koenigsegg One. We're off to South Carolina to the Michelin Lawrence Proving Ground to meet the car and the genius behind it. Christian, how are you?
Jay, so good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you again. It's always exciting. Wow, what a visually stunning automobile.
Yeah, so this is the only one-to-one in the US. It's one of only 6 made, plus our prototype. We wanted to have a limited number that we were sure we would find an audience for. Do you want to drive?
I would love to try.
Yeah.
Well, the engine's got a great visceral growl to it. You know, you can hear the mechanical parts moving. That feels good. Initial impression, just how comfortable the car is. I've got plenty of leg room. I'm 6 feet tall, and I've been in a lot of cars that have race seats, and these are the most comfortable race seats I've ever been in. Now, when you first started this company, did people think you were crazy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I was 22 years old. This was my childhood dream. I had tinkered with motorcycle cars and boats and stuff, but I wanted to prove to myself with the most difficult thing I could think of and prove to everyone else, and something I really loved, and that was cars. So I'm just going to do it. And since that day, I've done nothing else, and that was 21 years ago.
What was your biggest obstacle?
Everything.
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 Boy, it is like a go-kart, isn't it?
Good response. For being so powerful, it's very nimble and light and easy to access the power and performance.
You have to drive this on the track. I want to see what you do with it.
All right.
This is not my car, and as much as I would like to drive it a lot harder, at $3 million, I'll leave that up to the man. You can feel the tires clawing at the pavement.
It's fun. You don't even have to be a good driver to enjoy this.
Oh, looks great. When you consider the size of his company, the cars that Christian has built are on a whole different level. This is a day at the office for you. I can't wait to see what he comes up with next. The McLaren F1.
The McLaren F1 is arguably the ultimate car of the 20th century. The McLaren company, which was started, of course, by the great race car driver Bruce McLaren, at this point, when this car was being developed, was at the absolute peak of its form in Formula One racing, and when Gordon Murray, one of the greatest car designers ever, was given the brief to design the ultimate road-going supercar. Cost no object, design the car, we'll figure out what we have to sell it for.
And of course, at the time, it was not successful because the recession hit. So people held off buying the car until essentially the company just stopped production. This is serial number 15. This was the 15th car built. And it stayed on the showroom floor for a long time before I bought it. I really hesitated, and I said, you know, if it's still there in 2 weeks, all right. No! It was there 2 weeks later. And now I realize it's the greatest decision I ever made. And it's just glorious to drive because there are no driver aids. There's no boosters, there's no anti-lock brakes, there's no traction control. You're master of your own destiny, sort of, you know?
5 years ago, a McLaren F1 would sell for about $3.6 million. Now, $12 million is the entry price for one of these.
Well, now you're going to see the most expensive vehicle on the planet. And the amazing thing is, it's housed in an ordinary garage. Literally, just like a garage you'd have at home.
Hi, Jay.
John, how are you?
Good. How you doing? Welcome to the Mars Yard.
Thank you, thank you. And this is
the Mars Rover, isn't it?
This is it. This is what we call the VSTB, Vehicle Systems Test Bed, and it basically is the entire Rover.
And you're the driver, correct?
I am one of the drivers, yes.
Okay.
We have a whole team. We build command sequences ahead of time that tell it everything we want to do for the day. And then it goes about its business all by itself, and when it's done, it says, okay, here's what happened.
This thing doesn't just roll around all day. In fact, as we speak, it's searching for evidence of ancient life and water on Mars. It can actually analyze gases and organics all by itself and then send that data back to Earth. Just an amazing feat of engineering. Oh, and listen to this. It also takes selfies.
Is there technology here filtering down to automobiles?
There are image processing algorithms and things that are on here to look for hazards and things like that that can be adapted and used. We actually had one of our colleagues work on the self-driving car.
Can we drive this one? Is that possible?
The problem with driving this one is you have to build the command sequences the same way we do for the Rover on Mars.
Right.
So we have a stripped down model over here.
The base model.
Exactly. So this is the Scarecrow. This is our mobility mock-up. I'm going to introduce you to Garrett. He's going to show you how to drive it.
Garrett, how are you?
Good, how are you?
This is called Scarecrow, you
This
said?
is called Scarecrow.
Why is the Scarecrow?
Because it doesn't have a brain.
That's why they call me Scarecrow at the network. I had no idea.
Well, I'm going to leave you in Garrett's capable hands.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So let's start with something simple. The top button in the middle there says forward 5 meters. This is really the workhorse of our mobility testing in the Mars yard. We do the vast majority of our testing with this, especially before we do anything with VSTB.
You know, for $2.5 billion, I expect a little more horsepower, maybe some leather interior. But that's okay. Let's pick up the pace here. This is a show about going fast.
Stop. Wow.
So we're going to aim to put it over some rocks. So here you're going to see the vehicle ascend this rock that we've placed in front of it. So you'll notice that one thing we try to do is when one side of a vehicle is going over a rock, we don't want the whole vehicle to start rolling. So we have a differential on top of the vehicle, and that makes sure that when one wheel goes up on one side, the other goes down.
Okay, sure, it's a little bit slow, but incredibly efficient. And keep in mind, the real Rover is doing this right now more than 249 million miles away on Mars. And believe me, far worse conditions.
Well, Garrett, thank you. It's fascinating.
You're very welcome.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you'll find videos from all your favorite CNBC shows. Be sure to subscribe by clicking right here. Click on the videos around me and watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.